The truth shall set you free. Generational curses. It's genetics. That's our favorite cliche. We use it when we don't want to do the necessary work on ourselves, when we don't want to slow down long enough to ask the real questions, when we need a quick explanation for patterns we've been living with our entire lives. High blood pressure, genetics. Depression, genetics. Anxiety, genetics. Addiction, anger, diabetes, silence, scarcity, genetics. We treat it like a medical fact, when in reality, it's often the most convenient excuse we have for not interrupting what we've always known. But here's the truth. Most of what we call genetics is really a generational curse. Not a curse in the mystical sense. A curse in the behavioral sense. A curse in the survival sense. A curse in the everyone before me did it sense. Or the classic, I got whoopings and I turned out fine. But did you though? Because if I'm being honest, a lot of y'all don't like yourselves, but that's a blog for another time. We don't pass down DNA as much as we pass down patterns. And the most dangerous part is how those patterns are spoken. We don't realize that the moment we say things like, that's just how we are, depression runs in our family, we got bad tempers, you'll never be the same after that. Everybody on our side struggles with that. We are placing spells on ourselves. Words create belief. Belief creates behavior. Behavior creates reality. Reality creates generational continuity. That's how curses travel. Not through blood, through language. The box we don't question. I think of a family like a box. Not just a set of relatives. A contained environment of belief, habits, wounds, coping, food choices, expectation, roles, and unspoken rules. Inside that box, we don't inherit depression. We inherit emotional suppression. We don't inherit scarcity. We inherit survival. We don't inherit fear. We inherit silence. We don't inherit sickness. We inherit stress and comfort foods that comfort our stress. If everybody in the box eats the same, avoids the same, fears the same, and copes the same, then of course the body responds the same. That's not genetics, that's exposure. Exposure handed down and repeated until someone finally asks, what if we don't have to do it this way? Free will as a door. People talk about curses like they're permanent, but God gave us free will for a reason. Free will means we don't have to carry what we inherited. We don't have to repeat what we witnessed. We don't have to honor what harmed us. We don't have to pass down what was handed to us just because it came labeled as love, culture, or tradition. They survived. We get to heal. They endured. We get to choose. Changing direction changes bloodlines. In my community, we learned survival early. WIC, tax refunds, food stamps, Section 8. But what we don't learn, business credit, life insurance, home ownership, therapy, emotional regulation. I knew the curse shifted when my son asked me, what is link? Because that meant he wasn't living in the same box I grew up in. Not because I was better, but because I made a choice. My children will not inherit the box. They will inherit themselves. DNA isn't the story. It's just the ink. People love to say, it's in my DNA. But DNA is just the ink. Environment is the handwriting. Family is the author. And culture is the editor. DNA doesn't tell the story. We do. And the truth is, most of what we call genetic is really behavior repeated, belief repeated, food repeated, stress repeated, fear repeated, spells repeated. When we change the environment, the body listens. When we change the story, the bloodline shifts. Curses don't break themselves. Breaking a curse isn't complicated. It's intentional. A curse ends when someone refuses to repeat it, speaks differently, chooses differently. And here's the part we rarely talk about. Most curses don't survive without someone agreeing to carry them and then concealing them. That's how patterns stay alive, quietly, silently, loyally. Awareness is the doorway. Free will is the exit. C notes. This isn't about blaming where you came from. It's about recognizing the spells you're still speaking over yourself and the boxes you're still living inside of. What curses have you been carrying and concealing, and what would change if you finally put them down? Let that sit with you. The first taste of freedom is choice.